Ladies and gentlemen, I have a public service announcement for the Zerg players of the ladder. I've noticed a problem that some people are having with their unit management. This is a really good example of a case where the Zerg has an army that can demolish the Protoss, but we don't engage with it correctly. Most of the time when people ask for help, they have droning problems and they don't macro their bases correctly and all this. But in this case, our lovely Zerg here has 85 workers, double Evo, upgrades going. They've got a macro hatch and a fourth base and gases. So aside from maybe adding a little bit more tech, this is a fantastic setup. But we're not able to kill the Protoss here when by the numbers we should be able to. And a lot of that has to do with the formation of these units. Look at these units, how they are right now. We've got, let's just browse this. These Hydras are up here in the front. This Hydra is also in the front. We've got some of these Roaches in the back here, and this is all really salt and pepper kind of mixed together. And then when we watch this move in, let's just watch how these units fight if you A move them. Because one of the key essences of managing an army well is knowing the least clicks necessary to achieve the best possible engagement. So we're moving out. I love the distraction with the Lings. The Roach Hydra goes up. And then we'll just put this on normal speed so we can really look at what each of the units are doing. Let's go. Okay, army's going in. This is wide open. This is the most important area that you could occupy as a Zerg and basically win the game. Okay, so we're going in at a line. The place where we could apply the best DPS right now for our army would be right here. Basically, all of this would form a really nice arc of damage if there was an enemy right here. And a lot of these units could participate. And if you A moved in this direction, they would be very successful and you wouldn't really have to micro much. You would establish a natural arc. But here, we have a conga line of stuff where everything is in a line and whatever is in the front is getting focused down first. Look at these units in the back. Let's just bask in this traffic jam. These poor Roaches in the back. They can't even participate. This poor guy. Okay, that's a problem. So we want to make sure that we don't have Roaches in the back line. Let's look at another issue here with this setup. The Roach Hydra goes in. Their army is over here primarily, and they have a couple units over here. We're move commanding this way. We're move commanding north, and they're getting free damage on our army. Anytime you are move commanding and your opponent is attack moving you, you're getting 0 value for your DPS in your army, and they're getting full value, which is something that you really don't want to have happen, if at all possible. So what I would be looking to establish here is whatever concave I can get with my army. And I would want to make sure the Roaches are in the front. Because these Colossi deal bonus damage to light. You see here, damage 11. That's 11 damage versus your Roaches. 17 damage versus your Hydras, which means we're getting punished for having our unit salt and pepper right now. Ideally, we have Roaches in the front and the Hydras in the back. But I think going up here is a mistake. One thing you can do whenever you're pushing is thinking about what map objective can I take and what area can I control that's going to force my opponent to come over here. Because if you put your army here, the Protoss will go face you. They have to fight you because you're controlling such a key location. You don't have to chase their army like a cat and mouse game. That would be better for the smaller army to be chased by the larger army. Because if you're both moving, you both spend the turn to move, then the smaller army is wasting the time of the larger army, basically. So with your larger army here, bash this base down, and then make a huge concave right here. Huge concave. Kill these Colossi. There's another thing, we have units kind of running around randomly. I will show you how to micro this. I'm just going to take over the game here. And I'll show you how I would control this and talk through the steps. So we have a beautiful Roach Hydra army. If microed correctly, you win the game here with how the Protoss macroed. This is a platinum game. We're not GSO Code S, it's fine. Okay, I'll go to the point where you're about to move up. Okay, I'm gonna take the Zugs. No salt and pepper. No salt and pepper Roach Hydra. Stop it. We are doing tres leches, layer cake. You have the layer of roaches and you have the layer of hydras.
And they're out of here.
So we take this army.
We evolved.
We control click the hydras, click them back. We control click the roaches, click them front. Look at this, beautiful. That only took like 2 clicks. And then I move in with the army like this. Look at this area. Now I can just F2 basically. I have mostly roaches in the front and I want to get the widest arc that I can. And if the Protoss army comes this way, they come at me this way, I can fall back a little bit, go up a little bit, down like this, and then I can fight like this. And now this is my concave, here, this angle. I want to take up as much space as I can. And I have pretty nice roast coverage in front. Let me just control click the hydras to the back to practice that. Roaches in the front. What if I want to attack over here? Control click the hydras to the back. We layer cake this. We go boom. We go like this. So I would say you had technically achieved a potential win condition this game by having a dramatically stronger army, but you didn't capitalize on that by putting the Roach Hydra in an environment where they're going to thrive. That's a huge part of which army wins in StarCraft. It's not just which army is technically better on paper. It's which army is better in that particular spot of the map. Because you'll have like your opponent's army there. The replay goes on for some time. We could actually look at more of it. But the sentry, if you fight in a narrow area, the sentry becomes a god tier unit. And Roach Hydra runs into problems because it needs Ravagers or Ultras. The Colossus is really good in narrow areas and they can retreat up and down cliffs and stuff. There are a whole bunch of amazing things that Protoss can do if the fight is taken in a narrow area. So all you need to do, if you have a substantial army advantage, is get between your opponent's bases and make that your home. That's my outpost now. My army is here. And if you want to be able to transfer those Colossi from your second base to your third or your fourth to get to your army, you have to fight me. And this is a Sun Tzu quote, actually. He says, attack a position that your opponent must succor. Like they must go and answer if you put your army there. You don't have to chase their army through some narrow passageway and chasm on a wild goose chase. You can just go between their bases and just like wrestle into them. Yeah, got to position better and formation as well. I would say formation is linked with position, but they're not the same thing. Formation means understanding how your army will most optimally engage. So which unit should be in the front, which units should be in the back, how spread your units should be when you go in. Because pre-splitting, that is taking your little kid soccer game of a clump of army and you just split it into 2 pieces first, that's going to make it a lot easier to get a concave, because if you attack forward, you get a nice natural arc like this. If you have a little kid soccer game, you get a clump of stuff where the top portion of it engages the enemy, but the bottom portion can only just imagine what's happening at the front line. They can't even participate. So you want to try to widen your troops as Zerg so everyone can shoot when they get in, and then you A move forward. Hope that was useful for y'all with your Roach Hydra management and attacking.